Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another block, and this one is called, what is this one called? Ups and Downs. It's another one from this book, The 1000 Blocks. But I'm going to make it slightly different sizes than what's in there because, you know, you didn't buy the book. I'm going to use these. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to use these jelly roll strips. They are from a Christmas print that I actually got it on sale at Walmart. And I thought it would be great to do sample blocks with it. And then I'll have a Christmas quilt by the end of the year. So I'm going to cut these into squares. I'm going to take the actual length of the strip, and I have this one I started cutting on. Let me use it so I can show you. So I took it and I made a straight cut there. Now I measured this and it was about just under 2 3/4. So I measured it and then I started cutting my squares. But if you don't have a rotary cutter and a mat, you could take it and just fold it over like this, and you could draw your line right there with whatever pen you use, and then you would be able to just cut it and then keep going. So I used the black as my background fabric, and then I used these two as my wave pieces, and you'll see what I mean by that. So let me get this out of the way. I use this, again, same Christmas line. It's got the gnomes on it. I use it as the back of my block because I'm going to make this a quilt as you go quilt. That way at the end of the year it's just done, and all I have to do is hook them together and fold over the binding the way I do it. So then I cut my pieces, the blocks, just like I said. And I do use these. They're called Alphabetes. I got these from Amazon. I do like them. They keep my pieces separate so I can keep track of what I'm doing. So we're going to pair up each of these with these. You need 4 of each of these, and you'll need 8 of this one. So then you'll take this. I'm sorry, let's start over. You will take these and you'll flip it over. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You can hook it together like this. I'm sorry, lay it together just like that. And you could lay your ruler down and just cut right along that line, and then you'll sew those both together. But I find that more difficult than it should be. So you could also take this. I got this from Amazon too. It's an OmniGrid. No, I'm sorry. I didn't get this from Amazon. I got this from Joann's. It's a 1/4 inch ruler. So you lay this where the yellow line is on both the points of your square. And then you'll draw a line down either side of it. And then that will be your stitch line. You'll stitch on this one and that one. And that's where, if you would have cut it in the beginning, if you would have just laid that there and cut it, that's where you were going to stitch anyway. But I find it easier if I stitch them both and then I cut it apart, because you're not really working with the bias of the fabric then. But then this is a friction pen. You take that and then the heat just takes it right away. So I like those for that, because then I don't have to worry about, they're cheaper than the actual sewing pens and stuff also. So then the one other option is I have, if I can find it, I have this 1/4 inch seam tape that I bought to try out. I did get this from Amazon. And I put it across my sewing machine. I line this middle line right up with the needle, and then I lay it down, and then you can lay it right on it. Like if I wanted a 1/4 inch seam, I could lay this corner right there, and then I'm stitching where the red line is, which is the same as what the ruler did. Let me show you that again. So the ruler is right there, but then if you line this corner up with that, with that one, with the black one, then the red goes straight onto that line, and that's how you're gonna sew a straight line, as long as you keep this corner even with that 1/4 inch line right there. So that's actually how I did mine, but no big deal. So I'm gonna stitch some of these up, and then I'll be back to show you what they look like. All right, I am back. I have done all of mine. I left this one, I did cut it apart, but I wanted to show you. When it comes off, it'll look like that. And then I actually just took scissors and I cut mine down the middle, but you could very much use a rotary cutter. Then you set the seam and you'll fold it open on both of them. And now your block will look wonky. I can tell that. I'm not saying it won't. So let me show you how you trim that up. We're going to make them 2 inches. So then you'll take this and see this, can you see that black diagonal line? We're going to lay that one there as close to this edge as we can. This edge, but straight. And then we'll take, and we will just trim off both ends there. Still need a new rotary blade. I'll change it someday. And then you'll turn it over, and this time you'll line up that same line, but you'll also line up your 2 inch line here and here on the corresponding sides. And then you'll cut there. And there. And there's your 2 inch square. And then we'll do this other one. Same way, you line up the diagonal one and cut off all your little extras. Flip it around. Line up your middle and your 2 inches on each side. There you go. And these, I do save these. I have a bin of them, and when I get enough, I stitch together a pillow and I fill it with that. So then you'll have you'll actually have 8 of each of these. I already sewed 4 of mine, 4 of each together. So we're going to lay it like this. So it forms a little wave. And then this one will go the other way. So it makes a little point. And then these will lay this way. We'll have the black square in the middle. And it will point the other way. So I already have one together. It'll be 4 wide. So I'm going to go ahead and then we're going to stitch these 2 together right there. And these 2. And then these 2. And these 2. Make sure you keep them in the right orientation or you're not going to have the right thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do those. And then I'll be back to show you the next step. All right, I'm back. And I have my squares stitched together. Trim them apart. And then we're going to press them open. Set the seam. Press it open. Set the seam. Press it open. Keep going. And actually right now I'm more worried about, I'm working on my technique, but I'm just kind of playing around, seeing what blocks I like. That's why I bought the book with all the different kinds in it, because what better way to try out new blocks than to have a bunch of different patterns. So then you're going to lay them back out like that. And then we are going to sew these two together and these two together. And now you actually have 4 rows of them. I just did mine 2 and 2 because it's easier than doing all 4 rows. But that is how I did it. I just did the other one just like this, and then I'll do this one like this, and then I will show you how to hook this back together, how to hook this one together then. And we do nestle that little seam there. Fold that the other way. Then it will nestle right in there. Excuse me. We'll pin it. Pin the bottom. And pin close to the top. All right, I'm going to sew those together and then I'll be right back. All right, I've done that. I'm back. Snip the little threads. I do chain piece, which means I don't cut my threads in between sewing my pieces together. So then we'll have 2 pieces that are identical minus the middle fabric. And we're going to set them back up the way we had it with the black in the middle. And then we will, same thing, nest our seam there, and we'll pin it. And then we'll pin this one. And up here. And then I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam throughout the whole time. If I didn't mention that, it is always a 1/4 inch seam on this block. All right, I'm going to sew that, if I can get that to pin, and then I'll be right back. All right, I've sewn that. Let me trim my threads here. We'll do the same thing. We'll set the seam, and we will fold it open. And this one actually looks mostly good. I could stand to do better. We are going to, oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to open this seam. No, I'm not. So then I have both my pieces here, and you will see how it starts to make a wave. So I'm going to take the top one here, and I'm going to take it down here, and we will nest these seams together just like before. Your seams do get kind of bulky here with having so many different pieces. So you do have to be careful. Again, I'm not stressing about it. I just enjoy sewing. So, all right, I am going to sew this right down there, 1/4 inch seam, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have completed it. Pretty excited. I don't know about you, but these are exciting times. I like it. I probably could have picked better fabrics because, well, you know, just because. But I didn't. And I don't even care. Okay, so to trim it up, I'm going to take my any ruler really will work. I'm going to take the 1/4 inch mark and I'm going to put it on top of the points on those squares. And I'm just going to trim them off. Really just cleaning it up, trimming the threads. Now this side, I'm going to do the same thing, only now my points are well, I guess they're the same. There's just not black in the middle, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm also going to line up the bottom of line on the edge that I already trimmed. So now I'm lining up 2 spots. I'm going to line up the bottom straight edge and, yeah, that's right, and the 1/4 inch. And then on these, if you do use the rotary cutter, there are a lot of seams under there. Adds a lot of bulk, so it very much could slide around on you. So you want to hold tight down on it. Okay. There you have it. Again, even this little stuff, I save it. It will fluff and pillow out real nice. So there's our block. Now, like I said, I'm doing a quilt as you go. So I have also cut this. We're going to put it down. And with this, I actually do trim it to the size I need already. Because they tell me not to, but it's really, I find it really hard to trim after the fact with the back on it and everything. So I haven't had a problem with it yet. I'm going to continue to do it until I have a problem. And even these, I will save these little strings and put in that very same pillow. And now my back I have also cut. However, it needs ironed a little bit. I folded it, so. All right. And then we'll take this and we will center it in there. And then I am actually just going to stitch down this one and this one, and then I will lay it to the side and it'll be ready for when my other ones are done. I'll go ahead and do that and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, that's what it looks like. Let me get this thread off of here. Now, you could do it with extra batting, and then you would just have to fold it back and then take it like this, and then you would have to just cut it off like that. I don't have problems with it like this, and I don't like to do it the other way, so this is how I do it. Now when we hook it to our other pieces, I will fold it back. I'm gonna fold this in half just to show you. So to hook it to your other pieces, you would fold it in half, and you would just stitch right, you wouldn't fold it in half, I'm sorry. To hook it to your other pieces, you would line them up like this and make sure these pieces, the actual quilt pieces, are together, lined up, and then you would quilt or stitch just from here all the way down, and then to hook them together, you would be able to unfold that, and then they would both be there with this piece bent up, and you would just fold this, and then you would stitch down this side, and of course there'd be another one over here, so you would stitch down that side. And then once you get to the border, you would do the same thing like this. Just like, I could just leave this like this and make this a hot pad, and then it would just be like that, and it would just be all the way around, and it would be a very nice pot holder, hot pad, whatever you wanted it to be. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you have any suggestions for future blocks or even different kinds of videos, let me know. If you enjoyed this, I would appreciate it if you subscribed, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.